Hello and good morning. My name is Sam. I'm welcoming you to today's video. We are doing a review of Game Week 7. We are hoping that you guys are getting ready because this one will be mouth-watering, I do assure you. So on the screen is my Game Week 6 team and its score. And I can say that it was not that bad, so I don't want to stick much to that because we have done a review on the same. You can check on the uploads. We already have a review of Game Week 6 ready, so you can check and see how we did and even the games that we banked on and how well we performed in that prediction. So to get us started, I would ask you, before we move on, kindly hit on the subscribe button, because we need you and we need your support, and for this channel to grow we need your input on the same. So subscribe, like, share with your friends, and I'm hoping that we are also going to enjoy together. So let's get going. This week's game week starts on Saturday, so there's no hassle or there's no hurry to set up your teams before Friday. The deadline will be on Saturday midday, so at least on that area we are a bit safe. The early kickoff will be the Liverpool game, and I would not go into details for every match, but I would want us to see which games we'll be banking on for this game week, because this is part of the things that we need to check before you pick your team. Before you look at who you're going to sign, always look at the games that you are banking on, because you might bring in, I've suffered this before, you might bring in a player and then realize that your team is already fully packed with game week players that have very good games. So you have maybe spent your free transfer or even took a 4 points hit, only to realize that you have more than enough players to play in a game week. Fine, you'll be having a good bench, but it would mean that the 4 points hit that you have taken cannot be repaid in that week. So that's why we look at the games to bank on and even the games to avoid. So we have around 7 games that we are banking on in this game week 7. Sheffield versus Liverpool. I expect Mane and company to do the trick, especially in response to what Man City did against Watford last week. I think I'm expecting a response from Liverpool, but then again, Sheffield are no pushovers. Aston Villa versus Burnley, again it is a good game. For one, if Barnes does not start picking up points, because I've checked in the last 3 games, I think he has blanked. And most of us are only bringing him in because of the games that we see are upcoming. But as an individual, I think he's more is left to be answered. More questions than he's giving us, more questions than answers. Again, Bournemouth versus West Ham. That one I would expect many goals. Bournemouth, Wilson party continues and King. For West Ham, I don't know whether Lanzini will play, but as they showed against Manchester United is that they can do it without him. For Chelsea versus Brighton, I expect Abraham to get back to his calling form. Remember, before the Liverpool game, he had scored 3. I think in 3 matches he has scored a double, more than a double at least. For Crystal Palace versus Norwich, Pookie Party will be on. Everton versus Man City. Now this is a banker, not because of Everton but because of Man City. For the last 3 game weeks, Everton have conceded more than 2 goals. In fact, last week they conceded with the only two shots on target that Sheffield played, and they were at home. So I'd expect Man City to continue on. I'll be intrigued, or I'm looking forward to see which team Pep puts on. My fear is that now that he rested Sterling, in game week 6. You might be tempted to rest either David Silva or even Aguero. Again, we saw Sterling play last night. I think he played for around 70 minutes. That one does not tell us much about his playing, but at least taking him in that early means that he is in his plans for game week 7. So the last game of the week would be Man United versus Arsenal. And the reason why I'm banking on it is because Arsenal are all attacking. That gives Manchester United a chance to counter-attack, which is the only thing that they are doing this season. Again, they have David Luiz, who, whenever I look at him, I just see a penalty written all over his face. So with the Arsenal's attack and the Man United poor defending or even at counter-attacking, that game will be interesting. So that's why we are also putting it as a banker. There are 3 games that we are going to keep away from, or we are advised that you are keeping away from, and that the first one is Spurs versus Southampton. And many might disagree considering the form that Son has shown. But also I know how Southampton do away from home, and they are very compact. So a 1-0 or 2-0 win is not much for us, unless both goals are scored by either Son or Kane. So the other match that we are also keeping away from is Wolves versus Watford. Watford were humiliated last week, so I expect them to try and show something against Wolves. Again, Wolves have had an indifferent season so far, considering that they are playing the Europa League. Leicester versus Newcastle. Newcastle are very compact in at the back. I think they are keeping clean sheets, and they are even showing that they can stand and be counted. We thought that they would be candidates for a drop this season, but turns out that they are well prepared. Now, when I look at the transfers that I'll be making for this game week, I've never been this confused. I'll put it out there. I'm so confused about who I'm going with, particularly because most of my players did very well in game week 6. If you look at my score, or if you look at the team that I had, I'll share with you here. I don't know who to bring out. The only people that I'm thinking about is Dean and Wan-Bissaka, because I don't see them keeping a clean sheet in the near future. Neither are they bringing any returns in terms of going forward. Those are the only people that I'm certain. And maybe Barnes is on my radar. I'm watching keenly how he'll do this game week. So to maybe give you an idea of what I'm working with, I'll share around 4 scenarios. And the 4 scenarios are the teams that I would want to have in around 3 or 4 game weeks. That means that I'm not making these transfers now, so do not be alarmed when you see a negative 16 in my proposed changes. These are just scenarios that I'm sharing. I'll be a bit brief about it, and I'm hoping that you are going to flow with me. So the first scenario sees me move out both David Silva and Sterling, and the main people who are coming in their place is Aguero and TAA. Of course, not in the same position, but they are the reasons why that move is going like so. And such a move would be done in around 3 or 4 game weeks, because there is no way I'm going to take a 16 points hit this early. But those are the changes in scenario 1. So when you see, you can share on the comments. You can say which scenario that best you think that can work, or you think is more lucrative, because that's why we are sharing, so that we can benefit. Again, you can look at the team, and maybe your team is close to this, and these are people that you can bring on. So that is scenario 1, whereby Sterling and David Silva walks out. De Bruyne, KDB is going nowhere. So that you'll see he's consistent in all the scenarios. In scenario 2, we maintain Sterling, but instead of going for Aguero, we go for Aubameyang. That is in the place for Barnes. And of course, it would mean us missing out on Son, who has very good fixtures and has shown a good form. And then again, we'll also miss out on TAA, Alexander-Arnold, because for this scenario, you are going low on defense now that nobody is keeping a clean sheet, and then going big in both attack and in the midfield. So that is scenario 2. In scenario 3, we move out Sterling for Mount, and then instead of bringing in Son, we bring in McGinn, who even against Arsenal showed that even against the big guns, he can score good points. And then we bring in Aguero, who is more assured of starting because of how he has started his season so far. And then of course we have TAA coming in and improving our defense, and we might need to maintain Bissaka even when he's not really bringing in so much in terms of attack. So that is scenario 3. In the last scenario, it sees us go big in defense a bit. Alexander-Arnold and Otamendi, who is quite good when it comes to attack. So really, that is something that is also worth looking at, and it's something that we are observing, and something that I would think would work. Again, Mount comes in, and also something important, we upgrade Mane to Salah. Again, no Sterling, no Aguero, because we already have the three Man City players. So guys, as we continue, remember to hit that subscribe button, remember to like, remember to share, because I'm really looking forward to hear from you which scenario you would favor more. In the 4 of them, I think in 2 or 3, TAA. Actually, the main people who are affected by the 4 scenarios is Aguero, Aubameyang, Alexander-Arnold, and Mount. Son in only 1 scenario. But I would want to see what you would think about it, and I would want to hear from you, so that we can grow together. At the end of the day, I said I'm not a guru in this. I'm also learning, and it is also vital for me also to hear from you and to see what you think. So anyway, for this game week, what I'm going with is I'm so tempted with De Bruyne or KDB's captaincy, mainly because I expect him to, if he's not scoring, then he's giving assists. Not unless Pep benches him. When he's playing, I don't expect him to blank. So he's my candidate for captaincy. I don't know whether I'm going to do 2 transfers or 3. I have two free transfers for this week. I might tend to do two defensive changes, but if I decide to go with Aguero, then it would mean that I would make 3 or so changes. That would mean me taking a 4 points hit. But as I shared in a previous video about points hits, I think we agreed that sometimes it calls for that, and sometimes some of those risks brings in so good results. I shared about somebody who I saw had done a 24 points hit, and then he scored over 100 points. So he had improved his team. He has made up for the 24 points that he had lost. and maybe he still has his wildcard intact to use at the right time, or when his team is so suffering. So that is it. We have gone 15 minutes into the recording. I didn't expect us to do that much, but I'm expecting to hear from you. I'm expecting to see your comments, and I'm wishing you a good game week 7. May the green arrows continue flowing for you, and if you need to change your team, as long as you know what you're doing, go for it. Like I said, don't be a puppet. This is you as a manager. Enjoy yourself, keep fit, and try to follow the things in life that makes your life better. God bless you so much. Have a lovely, lovely week.